today I want to get into something that I feel like artists don't really talk about that much, and that is about how talent is overrated. I love being talented. I'm not even going to lie. I love being an artist. I love being a painter, but realistically, this talent has kind of gotten me nowhere. And that is a hard truth, but it's the truth. When I was younger, I used to think that if I just became really good at what I do, then everything would kind of just work itself out, and that could not have been farther from the truth. I think that there is a difference between having a natural inclination to something and having a talent. I think that some of us can be naturally inclined to certain things, but not practice them enough to be talented, and some of us can not be naturally inclined to some things but practice them to become talented. My sophomore year of high school, I realized that there were kids that had more natural ability than I did, or at least it seemed like natural ability. That was the first year that I took an AP art class, and I had this realization that I actually wasn't that good. When before I had been in advanced art classes and I felt like I'm pretty good at this, this was the first time that I was actually doubting my skill and doubting myself. But I really wanted to be good. I wanted to be as good as or even better than my classmates. So I spent hours and hours teaching myself how to draw and paint. Most nights I would work late into the night. I would sleep like 3 or 4 hours, and then I would wake up early to finish my artwork in the morning before school. I just wanted to be good more than anything. I also had a really harsh art teacher, which motivated me to work really hard. But this kind of like set the tone for me for how I would approach my art practice through high school and through college. And especially in those first 3 years of high school, the progress that I made was exponential. And that was when I learned that talent is really just a skill like any other. A real talent requires effort. And I think that talent is important, but it's not everything. I think that what put this idea in my head that if I just got really good at my craft, I would someday get discovered was the fact that I used to watch all of these artist documentaries, and that was kind of the story for all of these people. It would be these artists who would just work really hard at the thing that they're passionate about. They would get really good, and then they would just get discovered. And I was watching these when I was a teenager, so I was very impressionable and I was just taking all of this in. These were artist documentaries like Frida Kahlo, Basquiat, Kurt Cobain, Amy Winehouse, like musical artists and visual artists. But I have learned the hard way that talent does not automatically guarantee success. I know so many talented people struggling to make ends meet, myself included. And I see a lot less talented people with money, success, recognition. And I think that rarely are talented people good at the skills that we need in order to actualize our dreams. Usually the art person doesn't want to learn how to network or market themselves, but the ones who do learn these opposite skills are the ones who find success. I feel like the artists that I know who have made it far are the ones that either know how to network or how to market themselves, or both. And I know it sucks. It's like the last thing that any artist wants to hear, but it's the truth. As much as I used to love painting for hours and hours in my bedroom, every free moment that I had, I've had to learn how to spend time developing other skills that are going to help me in my art career and help me to sustain an art practice practice long term in the future. And a lot of the times right now, it can feel like I'm neglecting my art practice when I'm spending time on these other things. But what I've realized is that if I want a career in art, then I have to treat it like a job, and I have to treat it like a small business. And in a small business, you have to learn how to do a little bit of everything. You can't just do one thing and expect success. If I wanted to keep my art as a hobby, then I could just keep doing what I was doing, painting in my free time and not really concerning myself with all of these other things. Talent is kind of just one piece of the puzzle. I think that to achieve what we want requires this process of building a skill over and over again, because I don't think that going through this process once and just building one skill is what gets you to where you want to go. So now the skills that I'm working on are things like discipline, communication, marketing, learning about business, because after 12 years of making art, I've learned that talent is cool, but it doesn't get you very far on its own. So if you're talented and you feel like things are not working out for you, I would say that there's probably some skill or something else that you can learn that can help to move your art career forward. I know it's annoying, but it's good in the long term, and I do feel better having learned all of these other skills now and putting everything together. I feel just more like well-rounded, whereas there used to be a point in my life where all I did was paint, and although it got me very good at painting, I did feel like too obsessed. Like I was so attached to this one thing, and now I have all of these different outlets, so it's a good thing. Ultimately, it is a good thing, but it can be difficult to get there. But just try it. Learn a new skill, learn how to edit, learn how to write, network, do something new. I think it'll only benefit you. I've been having fun with it, so I think that you can too. And that is all for today.